My name is Elena Park, and I'm 29. I design for a living: logos, pitch decks, brand systems. People think design is about color, but mostly it's about boundaries. What belongs where, what stays out, what overlaps only by choice. I learned that from my mother's bank statements when I was 12, the month my father emptied their account and left a clean white space where trust had been. So I keep tidy lines, I track invoices, I label everything I can't afford to lose. Caleb Brooks entered my life like a well-lit homepage, smooth, persuasive, easy to scroll. We matched in late July. He had the kind of smile that makes time feel like it's being spent well. 2 hours of coffee became 6, ramen, a long walk, then drinks under a loud ceiling fan. He was between places because of a roommate situation, but it sounded temporary in his mouth, like weather. By week 3, he was at my apartment 4 nights out of 5, leaving a toothbrush by my sink like a planted flag. Saturday morning, 8 weeks in, sun square on the table, I made pancakes, and he scrolled his phone like it owed him clarity. He looked up with an expression he probably practiced in mirrors. "I've been thinking," he said. "This, us, feels like home." "It does," I said, 'cause it did. I liked the way he laughed with his head back, the way he learned my coffee order without asking. "I'm tired of living out of a duffel. My friend wants her space back. Why am I searching for a place when I'm here anyway?" He reached across the table and touched my wrist. "Let's make it official. I could move in." My fork paused midair. "Caleb, we've known each other 2 months. Almost 3, he corrected, smiling. "When you know, you know." I smiled back, careful. "I like where we are, but moving in is big. We should give it time." His gaze cooled half a degree. "So you don't see a future?" "I didn't say that. I said time." He nodded slowly, then brightened, like a curtain reopening. "Okay, I get it. I love that you're thoughtful. One thing, though." He set his phone down. "What if you add me to the lease, just as a formality? I could still look for a place, but it would show stability. Landlords care about that." I stared at him. "If you're getting your own place, why would you need to be on mine?" "It's about trust, Elena. I'm not asking you to marry me. It's just a line on paper." "A line on paper that gives you legal rights to my apartment," I said, gentle but fixed. His face hardened like cooling sugar. "Wow, so you don't trust me? I've known you 8 weeks. So that's not enough to show commitment?" The old tug of guilt tried to hook me. I let it miss. "You're right," I said evenly. "Maybe I don't trust you that much." Silence dropped. Clean, Arctic. He stood, left his pancakes for the trash, disappeared into the bedroom for an hour. When he came out, he was sunshine again. Apologies, stress. He'd overreacted. I said okay. We watched a movie, ordered Thai. By bedtime, the air felt normal because we'd both pretended hard enough. Sunday at 9:47 a.m., I woke to quiet. The space beside me was smooth. His overnight bag was gone from the corner. Toothbrush gone. Charging cable gone. My MacBook Pro, the one with my client files, drafts, invoices, and a decade of photos, was missing from my desk. My mouth tasted like metal. I called him. Voicemail. Texted. "Where are you? Did you take my laptop?" At 11:30, he replied, "Borrowed it for a work thing. I'll bring it back." I called. He answered on the second ring, voice breezy with a seam of impatience. "Babe, relax. My laptop died last night. I've got a client deck tomorrow." "You took my work machine without asking." "We're dating. Couples borrow things." "Borrowing involves asking." He sighed, a sound practiced to mean you're being unreasonable. "I'll bring it back tonight." "No," I said. "I need it now. Send me your address. I'll pick it up." "Jesus, Elena, you're being controlling. This is about property and consent." He hung up. I scanned the apartment again like the laptop might have learned invisibility. It hadn't. The only empty space was the one in my chest where calm used to live. By Monday afternoon, after 8 voicemails and 20 texts, he sent, "Stop harassing me. You'll get your precious laptop when I'm ready." Not my precious laptop, my livelihood. I sat at the kitchen table and opened the file I keep for emergencies. Receipt, serial number, photos, a tiny scuff on the left hinge, a smear of sticker residue like a fingerprint. I printed them all, slid them into a plastic sleeve, and stared at the clock until it moved. I called the non-emergency line. The officer's voice was kind but hedged. Domestic gray area. If she had access, if you're in a relationship, people claim permission. Do you have proof of ownership? Yes. Do you have text demanding return? I will. I filed anyway. Case number 2024-87453. Not justice, just gravity, pulling this somewhere official. I texted Caleb. Police report filed. Return the laptop by end of day or I escalate. He called instantly. You did what? You can meet me at the Maple Street Starbucks at 6, I said. Public place. Bring it. This is so typical. You're paranoid. You treat people like criminals. You gave something that isn't yours to someone who isn't me, I said. Who is she, Caleb? A beat, a throat clear. It's not, she's just a friend. Her name, I said, voice steady. Silence, then, Chloe, his ex. At 6:00 p.m., I waited at Maple Street under the hiss of the espresso machine. 6:15, 6:30. No Caleb, no laptop. The door chimed for other people's reunions. At 7:15, an unknown number buzzed my phone. A photo filled the screen. My MacBook, its display a spiderweb of white fractures. Keyboard beaded with whatever had been poured onto it. Text. Oops, it fell. Dumpster behind 847 Oak if you want it back. I stared at my reflection in the broken glass, warped, multiplied, already smaller, and felt something old and steel-colored lock into place. I saved the image. Then I typed to the unknown number. I'll handle it. The next morning, I drove to 847 Oak Avenue. The air smelled like wet cardboard and detergent. Someone had just hosed down the alley. The dumpster sat under a flickering light, green paint peeling like it was shedding old lies. Inside, under a collapsed box and half a lampshade, was my MacBook. Screen cracked, keyboard warped, battery blistered from liquid damage. Whoever accidentally dropped it had taken time to aim. I lifted it out with a grocery bag, my hands shaking only from the cold. I took photos, the damage, the address plate, my watch and frame for timestamp. Then I set the laptop in the passenger seat, drove home, and let the silence talk. It said, "You were careful. They were deliberate." By 9:00 a.m., I was back at the precinct. The same officer who'd filed my report looked up when I walked in, the kind of look that said domestic trouble, not worth the overtime. I set the photos and the damaged laptop on the counter. She texted me a photo, I said I could pick it up from a dumpster. The message came from an unknown number. He leaned forward, scrolling through my screenshots. You think it's the same woman? Yes, Chloe Martinez, my boyfriend, Caleb, gave her my laptop. He raised an eyebrow. Ex-boyfriend, I'm assuming? Correct, I said, surprising myself with how easily the word fit. He sighed, typing. It's tricky. Values under felony threshold. Could be charged as misdemeanor destruction of property, but she'll claim it was an accident. These relationship-adjacent cases don't always stick. I understand, I said, but I want it documented. He nodded. Smart. Keep copies of everything. If you can prove intentional damage, you might have a civil case. Small claims court. Small. I wondered if that's what all betrayals were called when lawyers ran out of empathy. When I got home, Caleb was waiting by my door. He looked clean and exhausted, like someone rehearsing remorse. Elena, can we talk? I opened the door, but didn't invite him in. You have 2 minutes. She told me what happened. She said she accidentally spilled something on it. She feels horrible. Does she feel horrible enough to admit it? He hesitated. She said you've been threatening her. I filed a police report. Same thing? No, I said. One's an emotion. The other's accountability. He stepped closer. You don't understand what she's been through. She's trying to rebuild. She's your ex-girlfriend, who you still talk to, who you trusted with my work device, I interrupted. Do I understand that part? His mouth tightened. You're being cruel. Cruel is taking what isn't yours and calling it love. He looked away, then back, voice trembling between guilt and irritation. I made a mistake, okay? I thought you'd be more forgiving. Of theft or of you? He didn't answer. When he left, I locked the door, then the deadbolt, then the chain. Sometimes security isn't about fear, it's about accuracy. By afternoon, I was cataloging everything. Text logs, police report number, Attune 24 87453. Receipts and serial number, photos of the destroyed laptop, screenshots of the oops it fell text, then curiosity. It's what always gets me. I opened my browser, typed Chloe Martinez, and added words like scam, theft, roommate, lease. Nothing at first. Then a hit, an old Reddit thread titled, Beware of this roommate, Chloe M. Post deleted, but the comments remained. Someone had quoted it. Met her through a friend. She asked to move in after a few weeks. When I said no, she stole my PS5 and ghosted me. The pattern pulsed like a warning light. Quick attachment. Financial leverage. Punishment when denied. I messaged the commenter. Me. Hi, this is random, but I think I'm her latest target. Can we talk? He replied within the hour. You're not the first. I know at least 2 others. She bounces between cities, uses different last names. Stay careful. Did you ever get your stuff back? Nope. She sold it online the same day. I found the listing. She's good at disappearing. His final message stuck with me. She's not unlucky, she's practiced. That night, I sat with a glass of wine and all the noise my brain could make. Part of me wanted to hunt her down. Another part wanted to crawl into stillness and let karma finish the paperwork. But something older than anger said, do the math. I opened a new document titled Martinez, Pattern of Behavior. Every story needs a record. Every record needs evidence. 2 days later, my phone buzzed again. Facebook notification. A message request from Jessica and Wen. Hi, I think we dated the same man. Attached was a photo of Caleb, cropped from an Instagram story I hadn't seen before. Him on a rooftop. Chloe's reflection in his sunglasses. The caption, back where it started. It was posted 2 days after she'd destroyed my laptop. My stomach went cold, then hot. Jessica's next line. I've been tracking her for months. If you're willing to help, we might be able to stop her. I stared at the message until the words stopped meaning sounds. Then I typed back. Tell me everything. Jessica's voice over the phone was steady but frayed at the edges, like someone who'd been careful too long. She used to date me, she said quietly. Before Caleb, before you. The sentence landed like a glitch in the pattern. She dated women? I asked. She dated anyone who'd open the door, Jessica said. Men, women. It's not romance for her. It's access. She told me everything. They'd met on a design forum. Chloe, or Kara back then, had been charming, ambitious, and broke. Jessica helped her build a portfolio, lent her equipment, even co-signed a lease application. When Jessica hesitated, Kara stole her tablet and jewelry, blocked her, vanished. It had been a year before she saw Chloe's face again, on a new dating profile under a new name. I've been tracking her since, Jessica said, because the police won't. We met at a coffee shop near downtown. She looked like someone who had rebuilt herself out of data, efficient, sharp, too tired for rage. She slid her laptop across the table, inside a shared document. Photos, receipts, police reports, usernames, aliases, patterns. At the top of the file was a list of confirmed victims. Marcus R. Credit fraud via address use. Priya S. Emergency loan never repaid. Jessica N. Stolen jewelry plus identity fraud attempt. Elena P. Destroyed work laptop. Total documented losses, $32,450. She keeps it under felony level, Jessica explained. It's her whole method, always just low enough that cops shrug it off. She's methodical, I murmured. She's a professional. Over the next week, Jessica looped me into a small chat. Marcus, Priya, and herself. We called it the Chloe log. Each of us added what we knew. Dates, screenshots, addresses, fake jobs she'd listed, profile pictures. Marcus was the one who finally cracked something open. He'd let Chloe use his address for mail after they broke up amicably. Weeks later, debt collectors began calling him. Credit cards in her name, but his address. That's how she triggered federal jurisdiction. Mail fraud and identity misrepresentation. I've talked to a lawyer, Marcus said in one of the group calls. If we pool our documentation, this crosses state lines. It's no longer small claims. Meanwhile, Caleb's name started showing up again. He posted a photo on Instagram. Sunset selfie. Caption, "Forgiveness is freedom." The reflection in his sunglasses wasn't the sky. It was Chloe. I didn't comment. I didn't call. I just took a screenshot for the file. Jessica texted, "You okay?" I replied, "Yeah, I think I finally see what she looks like. How's that?" she asked. Like a mirror that only reflects weakness. The file grew until it became a small website, Jessica's idea. A clean, anonymous design. Who she is, what she's done. Photos, aliases, police report numbers. No speculation, only proof. We posted it quietly in safety forums, roommate groups, Reddit threads, dating app subreddits. Within 2 weeks, 3 more people reached out. Same story, same woman, new names. A journalist contacted Jessica for verification. She declined. Didn't want fame, just friction. We didn't want to ruin Chloe's life. We wanted to make it smaller. Then, one night, I got a message from Marcus. She's moving fast again. Tried to open a new credit line yesterday. I got the alert from Experian. An hour later, Riley from Cybercrimes just called me. The feds are looking. A week later, Jessica sent a single link. An article headline. Woman arrested at airport in identity fraud sting. Suspect tied to multiple small-scale theft cases. The photo was grainy, airport security cam footage. But even through the blur, the smirk was unmistakable. Chloe, or Kara, or whatever alias she'd chosen, was handcuffed beside her latest mark, a man whose name she'd stolen to buy plane tickets to Las Vegas. The caption, suspect faces federal fraud and identity theft charges exceeding $50,000 in total damages. I stared at the photo for a long time. I wanted to feel triumphant. Instead, I felt finished, like the story had written itself into closure without asking for my consent. Caleb went quiet online. No more forgiveness quotes. No more rooftop reflections. Jessica texted, "We did it," I replied. "We stopped her." Then, after a long pause, added, "That's enough." 2 months later, the group chat slowed to silence. Priya moved abroad. Marcus changed numbers. Jessica deleted the site once the case went public. Our strange little vigilante family dissolved the way most healing does, quietly, with gratitude disguised as fatigue. Sometimes I still check the federal docket, just to see her name in print. United States v. Martinez, et al. It's not revenge, it's record-keeping. When the news broke wider, people online started treating it like an urban legend. The lease lurker, the Tinder tenant. Threads spun wild theories about how she'd picked her targets. Some called her a scammer, others called her a survivor making rent her way. I didn't read the comments. I just kept my files neat. Dates, receipts, serials, all packed into one labeled folder. Closed cases, lessons learned. The federal investigator, a woman named Agent Neves, called me a month later. Her tone was matter-of-fact but respectful. "Ms. Park, thank you for your documentation. You and the others built a solid paper trail. It's what made prosecution possible." "How bad was it?" I asked. She'd moved from emotional leverage to full-scale identity fraud. We found 8 active aliases and 3 victims who hadn't realized yet. For a moment, the line went quiet. I could hear keyboard clicks in the background, someone else's world being typed back into order. Neves added, almost softly, "You should know. She'll probably try to reach out once she's sentenced. They usually do." For what? Apology? For an audience. I wrote that down too. A week later, a letter arrived. No return address, just a postmark from Clark County Detention Center. I almost threw it away. Instead, I sliced it open with the side of my ruler. "Elena, I'm not writing for forgiveness. I just want you to know it wasn't personal. I do what I have to do to survive. You have no idea how easy you made it. Everything organized, labeled, predictable. I envy that. Take care of yourself. Maybe I'll learn how." See, no apology, no responsibility. Just a confession, dressed as compliment. I folded the letter once, slipped it into my binder between the police report and the destroyed laptop photos. A complete archive, a finished story. Caleb resurfaced 2 months later with the digital equivalent of a knock on the door, an Instagram follow request. His bio now read, "Healing isn't linear." He was still posting sunsets, still writing captions that sounded like they'd been written for strangers to applaud. One photo caught my eye, a self-portrait in his new apartment, bare walls, captioned, "Starting fresh." For the first time, I didn't feel anything. Not rage, not nostalgia, just distance. I didn't block him. I didn't follow back. I just let him sit in the request queue, unapproved, unanswered. By spring, restitution checks started arriving. Small monthly deposits from the state's victim fund. $150, then $125. Each came with a printed line. Payment toward case, 2024, 87453. I kept the first one as proof, shredded the rest. I'd already replaced my laptop with a new model, insured, encrypted, fireproofed against the world. When I powered it on, the screen blinked awake like a heartbeat. The wallpaper wasn't art this time. It was a single white background with 3 words in bold text: trust, but verify. One afternoon, I found a message buried in my filtered inbox. From Jessica. Subject line: she was sentenced. 5 years federal time, 3 years probation. Restitution to all registered victims. I guess this is the end. Take care, E. Shame. J. I stared at the message until it stopped vibrating. Then I replied with 2 words. We did. That night, I went for a walk through the same streets Chloe used to post as her new beginnings. The coffee shop where she first met Caleb was now a bubble tea place. The apartment building at 847 Oak had fresh paint over its dumpsters. The city keeps moving, unbothered by who gets rewritten. I looked up at the windows, each one a different story, a different trust, someone else's quiet test. If I ever love again, I thought, I'll let it take its time. No lease tests, no panic moves, no guilt disguised as romance. Protecting yourself doesn't make you cold, it makes you conscious. Later, at home, I closed my binder for the last time. On the spine, I wrote one final note in permanent marker. Case complete, system secure. Then I slid it onto the shelf beside my design portfolios, turned off the light, and let the silence settle like closure.